Did you know that 85% of people believe they're not creative? And yet, studies show that 98% of children are born with incredible creativity. So what happens as we grow up? The truth is, creativity isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a skill you can develop. But here's the shocking part. 78% of people don't use their full creative potential, mostly because they aren't tapping into the right habits. If you're ready to unlock your hidden creative power, you're in the right place. In this video, we're going to dive into 6 habits that can boost your creativity, no matter what stage you're at. These aren't your typical, overused tips. We're talking about strategies that the most successful people use to stay on top of their game, habits that will change how you approach problems, find solutions, and create like never before. Stay tuned, because by the end of this, you'll be ready to kickstart your own creative journey. Let's get started. Chapter 1. The Daydreamer's Routine. Unlock your mind's hidden potential. The first habit you need to embrace is simple: daydreaming. It sounds counterproductive, but daydreaming can actually boost your creativity in ways you might not expect. According to a study by Harvard University, the mind tends to make new connections when it's allowed to wander. This state of mind, known as mind wandering, is linked to better problem solving and innovative thinking. To unlock this, you don't need to schedule hours of daydreaming. Just take 10 minutes a day to let your thoughts drift. While many people feel guilty about zoning out, research shows that this is precisely when our most creative ideas surface. Start by setting aside a few moments during your commute or when you're doing mundane tasks, like washing dishes, to let your mind wander. Another great strategy is to use a journal to record your daydreams. You'll be surprised how often your best creative ideas come from random thoughts. And no, your ideas don't need to be world-changing immediately. Daydreams allow your brain to connect the dots between unrelated things, sparking originality. As Albert Einstein famously said, imagination is more important than knowledge. So, the next time you catch yourself zoning out, don't apologize. Lean into it. It's a golden opportunity for creativity. Chapter 2. Unplug and reconnect. Digital detox for a creative rebirth. In today's world, we're constantly plugged into devices. Whether it's scrolling social media, checking emails, or watching TV, we rarely get a chance to unplug. Yet, constant digital consumption can overwhelm our minds and stifle creativity. Studies show that the average person spends over 6 hours a day on their phone. This can dull the brain's ability to think deeply and generate new ideas. Taking a break from all that screen time is one of the most powerful things you can do for your creativity. When you step away from the digital world, your brain has the space it needs to reset. A study published in Psychology of Aesthetics, Creativity, and the Arts found that people who took breaks from technology were able to come up with more innovative and original ideas. But how do you disconnect? Start small. Try setting aside an hour each day without your phone. You can use that time to read, take a walk, or just sit in silence. By reducing distractions, you allow your brain to go into default mode, a state that actually encourages creativity. In fact, this is why so many breakthroughs happen during moments of stillness, like showering or lying in bed before sleep. A quote from author and digital detox advocate Cal Newport puts this perfectly: "To become deeply creative, you must engage in activities that are slow, contemplative, and deeply immersive." In other words, you need time to simply think. And for that, you need to unplug. Chapter 3. The 10-Minute Curiosity Challenge. Ask, what if? Curiosity might just be your most powerful tool when it comes to sparking creativity. The best part? It doesn't require any special skills, just a willingness to ask questions. For just 10 minutes a day, challenge yourself to ask, what if, about everything around you. What if I combined 2 completely different ideas? What if I took a completely opposite approach to this problem? Research shows that curiosity can lead to creativity. In fact, a study from the University of Minnesota found that curiosity is one of the strongest predictors of creative performance. The more curious you are, the more you seek out novel information, and the more connections your brain makes. This challenge is simple. Every day, take 10 minutes to explore something you know little about. You don't have to be an expert. Just explore with the mindset of, what if? For instance, ask what would happen if you combined two unrelated hobbies or skills. Would playing a musical instrument help you write better, or could coding teach you how to think more logically in other areas of life? These exercises encourage your brain to think outside the box. The beauty of curiosity is that it's completely free and can be done anywhere. You don't need fancy tools, just a curious mind. And when you do this regularly, you'll find that the creative ideas just start flowing. As author and thinker Leo Burnett said, curiosity is the key to creativity. So, spend those 10 minutes every day asking questions. You'll find that the world opens up with new possibilities. If you're enjoying these tips, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on more creative strategies that can change your life. Let's keep the creativity flowing. Chapter 4. The reverse brainstorm. Flip problems upside down. Brainstorming is a common technique for coming up with new ideas, but have you ever tried reverse brainstorming? It's a simple concept. Instead of thinking about how to solve a problem, think about how to make it worse. It sounds strange, but this method helps you uncover fresh ideas by looking at things from a completely different angle. In a study from the Creativity Research Journal, reverse brainstorming was shown to encourage more creative solutions compared to traditional brainstorming. When you force yourself to think about ways to increase the problem, you end up identifying blind spots or new perspectives that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. By pushing boundaries in the opposite direction, you naturally stumble upon unique ideas for solutions. For example, let's say you're trying to come up with a marketing plan. Instead of brainstorming ways to make your campaign better, ask yourself, how could I make it completely unappealing? You'll likely come up with exaggerated ideas like, create confusing ads with no clear message. Now, work backward from those bad ideas, and you'll discover ways to fix them and innovate in ways you might not have before. Try this next time you're stuck on a challenge. Give yourself 10-15 minutes to make the problem worse. You'll be amazed at what ideas surface. As author David Kelly once said, the best way to get great ideas is to do something that seems stupid. Chapter 5. The unpredictable routine. Break the comfort cycle. If you want to spark creativity, you need to step outside your comfort zone. A great way to do that is by changing your routine. Most of us thrive on habits, but sticking to the same routine every day can lead to a creativity slump. The key is unpredictability. When you break your usual patterns, it forces your brain to think in new ways. Research has shown that engaging in novel activities, whether it's switching up your work schedule or trying a new hobby, can improve brain plasticity, which is the brain's ability to adapt and form new connections. A study in psychological science found that people who engaged in novel experiences performed better on creative tasks. The idea is to inject unpredictability into your day. For example, take a different route to work, switch up your exercise routine, or change your workspace environment. When you break your usual patterns, your brain starts making new connections that can spark creative insights. Even the simplest changes can have a big impact. One of the most creative minds in history, Steve Jobs, was known for incorporating unpredictability into his routine. He often walked around the office or held meetings while walking, which helped him think more clearly and creatively. By forcing yourself out of autopilot mode, you're allowing your brain to think outside the box. As the famous author and philosopher Alain de Botton once said, change is the only constant, and it is the key to creativity. Chapter 6. Creative time travel. Borrow inspiration from the past in the rush to come up with new ideas. It's easy to forget that inspiration has been around for centuries. One of the most powerful tools for creativity is to look to the past. Drawing inspiration from history can give you a fresh perspective and open up new avenues of thinking. Take a trip through history and study how past artists, inventors, and thinkers solved problems or approached creativity. According to a report from the Creativity Research Journal, historical inspiration can fuel innovation by offering valuable insights into solving modern challenges. For example, studying Leonardo da Vinci's sketches can spark ideas for modern design or technology. A great way to start this creative time travel is by reading about or exploring forgotten art movements, old philosophies, or inventions from the past. You don't need to be an expert in history to benefit from it. The key is finding patterns, techniques, or concepts that resonate with you and then adapting them to your own work. For instance, the Bauhaus movement from the early 20th century emphasized simplicity and function over ornate design. You can borrow the same principles to rethink how you approach design, art, or even problem-solving in business. Another fantastic source of inspiration is the writings of ancient philosophers. Socrates, Aristotle, and others offered timeless wisdom about creativity and problem-solving. One powerful idea from Socrates was the concept of critical thinking, which involves questioning assumptions and looking for deeper truths, a skill that can vastly improve your creative abilities. As the famous author and innovator Steve Jobs once said, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." By borrowing from the past, you can create something entirely new, grounded in the brilliance of those who came before you. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed these creative habits, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for more tips that will help you take your creativity to the next level.